You're listening to Let's Date, a dating podcast covering communication, online dating, sex, and being a better person. I'm Zeta John, and my celebrity crush is Harry Styles.
What?
Ooh.
I'm Chris Cox, and my celebrity crush is Ryan Gosling.
I like it. I'm Julie Bueno, and my celebrity crush is Adam Driver.
Okay. Now, if the three of them could get together and make like a music video movie, I guess. I'm just trying to get Harry Styles involved somehow.
I'd watch it.
I can think of one thing I'd like to get Harry Styles involved with.
Last time we talked about first dates, so if you missed that episode, you can just jump on over to letsdatepod.com and find your preferred way to listen or watch. Okay, so today's topic is communication. How to open, how to keep the flow, when to respond, when to text a second or third time, and maybe a couple little random questions I'm going to ask you guys throughout, if that's okay.
Oh.
But
God.
first, like every episode, you guys have to tell me your date of the week. And the reason I say it that way is because I did not have a date of the week, so I pass.
And I just flipped through your dating apps on your phone, and I can see why you haven't had
Yeah.
a date in
Yeah.
a while.
That-
I think it was just on the particular app that
It
Julie and I
was.
were looking through on your phone
It
because
was.
we pulled ours up, and it's
Stark difference.
very different.
Well, you can name drop the app. It was Hinge.
It was Hinge.
I'm gonna sell 'em out,
Hinge for
'cause
men
it's
is
just-
trash, and Hinge for women is great.
Great. It's good.
Okay, so you don't have a dating story because
Because you guys told me to download the Hinge last episode.
okay, it's our fault now.
Going back to Tinder and Bumble.
Great.
It's fair.
Your Bumble looked great.
Yeah.
We looked at that, and
Oh, I
the
didn't read
women
that
on your
message.
Bumble are great. Your age
Oh,
range
yeah.
is very, very diverse.
Cast a wide net, catch a lot of fish.
Bees.
Bees.
Okay,
Bees.
Julie, you have a bad date story for us?
Yeah. Not a bad date story. I was just so bored.
Oh,
Like, texting was great. He asked, like, very good questions, like, not normal questions. Like, oh, I don't know.
Well, entertaining ones, yeah.
Yeah, like, more than typical, like, what do you do? What's your favorite? Blah, blah, blah.
like more than that?
Yeah.
Like more interesting
More
questions
interesting
than
questions.
just what do you do
like,
kind of question.
if you could, have dinner with someone dead or alive, who would it be and
Okay.
why?
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
And like a series of all those questions. Like it was really cool. And then I get there and I can tell he's really nervous, which I'm nervous also. It's first date. He like drank half his beer like on his first drink. I was like, okay.
That's okay. I'm going to let
That's
that
what
one
most
slide.
people
That's fine.
call a red flag.
Yeah. Well.
I had to ask him every single question. Like he did not initiate anything. Just and all his responses were like, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, no, sometimes.
So it was like
That's the perfect date because we're really going to jump into that on this episode
Yeah.
of different styles of communication. So, like, in person is so different than
Mhm.
online because he probably could have just been reading cans stuff or has a list that he's already made prior and just hits
Right.
all these girls with this, you know?
Yeah.
So, we'll talk about that. I'm
Yeah.
glad this is so serendipitous.
It's weird. And then
Oh, it's still, sorry.
as soon as I'm done with my drink, he was like, do you want to get in another one or go somewhere else? And I was like, I really have to actually go. Like, I'm sorry. I have to go home. I have stuff to do. And then he was like, okay. He was like, can we get our tab? The girl came over and was like, oh, your card got declined. Do you have another card?
Oh God.
He did not have another card. He didn't have cash. And I just kind of looked at him and I was like, you got, like, I guess I'm going to get it. He was like, yeah. And so, like, I had to pay, which is fine.
It
But,
is.
like,
Wow.
But
No
that's
backup
really
card.
I don't even know what to say.
no backup card,
Embarrassing.
no cash.
no Venmo you after because that's what I would
No,
do.
no,
Okay.
no.
Great.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. He was cute. Like,
I want to see his profile later.
Okay.
Will you show it to me after?
yeah, I should
Off
I
take
hope
the
I know
record.
who it is.
Maybe he unmatched me though.
Oh shit. I didn't think. about
Really?
that.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
Just
if
saying he
people
could
do that.
have.
That's pretty petty.
I think I have a good dating story to tell.
I'm
Okay.
here. I'm here for it.
Because last time we talked about my first date with the same person.
Mhm.
Knight Rider.
Chris wants to call him Knight Rider.
Or
He prefers to be called Doug the Professional Wrestler.
okay.
So Doug, the professional wrestler, and I went on our first date. What was supposed to be a triple date between the three of us, and you guys failed, and I had to take him alone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, our second date ended up being in the town that he lives in, which is not here.
Town.
City?
There you go.
We can say it. Dallas. He lives in Dallas.
We can say it.
We
It's
can
fine.
say it.
Now I know who he is. Just kidding.
But he took me to Dashboard Confessional, and before the show,
What?
he was like, "I've never really listened to Dashboard. Send me like your favorite songs." So I did, and he like scream sang them like a little emo kid at the show, and it made me so happy. Like at
Wow.
one point, he was like down on one knee with his fist in the air, like scream singing the lyrics to "Vindicated,"
Okay.
and I wanted to die. And like to go along with, I think in the first episode I mentioned if a man ever took me to Chili's, it would be all over. I ended up getting stuck in Dallas because of the snow, and like the next night it was late and we were both like starving, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to go to Chili's?"
Oh my god, it's because he knows.
I have a Chili's gift card for you.
Oh my god! I'm gonna
Really?
text him right now and be like, "Baby, we're going to Chili's."
Do you have something to tell us? Are we sponsored by Chili's now?
No.
No. So that was my good date story. Like, I'm sorry you got someone that was really boring, but I think I got someone that was, interested.
Yeah, you did.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
That's my
Doug, the professional wrestler.
that's my petty
What up,
Chris
Doug?
voice. Do we have any write-in dates?
No write-in dates.
No?
Send us your dates. I want to hear about it.
Yeah. Listen to the producer. Okay, so let's jump right in. I'm gonna laptop in the lap here.
So it's for.
So, online dating
Online
specifically,
dating.
but also real life.
Real life. I think real life communication, even when you meet someone in a bar, at the grocery store, or wherever people meet.
Okay.
Target.
Target.
I do prowl at Target.
Do you?
The quality of moms at Target.
Come on.
I'm kidding.
No, that's
Um,
you're not.
I am. So openers,
Openers.
I'm just gonna start off real hot here.
Okay.
The absolute worst thing anyone can ever do, and this happens to me, and I know it happens to everyone
Every
out there.
fucking day.
Hey,
I hate it.
I hate it's the
how are
worst.
you?
No.
No,
I'm not
even
responding.
like
What are
hey,
you doing?
I'm not responding.
First message.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Wondering what the fuck I'm doing on this app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have I stumbled into the least entertaining person, or the laziest person, or the person who's putting in the least amount of effort of all time,
I think the
All
worst
three.
or an absolute moron?
the worst one for me is how's it going?
That's
How's-
worse than hey.
The worse than hey is how's it going or how's your day going?
How's your weekend so far?
Because they
How's your
don't
weekend
care
so
because
far?
you don't know each other yet.
No. I
No,
hate it.
just don't. Say something more interesting.
Have you responded to one of those ever, like with a microaggression, or what do you do?
Every single time.
I don't. I just get too fired up. But
If he's really attractive or like I really like the bio, I'll reply.
okay.
Otherwise,
it gets
no.
a pass if you're super hot.
Yeah, if they actually seem like, okay, maybe you could be interesting, then I'll pick something from their profile because obviously I'm not the one sending the opening message. So I kind of take that as like a wash and pretend like I am sending the first
Oh, okay.
message. So
Oh.
I'll go through their profile, find something interesting, say they have a picture of them at the Duomo in Milan, and I'll be like, "Oh my god, looks like you've been to Milan. I love Milan. How did you like it?" or something. You know, I'll pull something from their profile to try to get a
Oh, yeah.
conversation actually started. But in my experience, it usually just goes back to Milan was cool, and that's it.
Yeah,
And
like
they have no interest in having a conversation.
so you mentioned visiting their bio or photos to get the conversation going. So the next topic is what's the best way to craft an opener? I kind of came up with a couple. The very first one I wrote though was hit them with something relevant to them and what you know about them. And what you know about them is their photos and their bio.
Yeah.
But if they don't have a bio, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Granted, if you have 10 mirror selfies, that's worth like one word. Stupid.
If they don't have a bio, I probably didn't swipe right.
Yeah, if they don't have a
You say
bio, I
that,
probably
but-
didn't either, unless they're extremely attractive.
Yeah, that's the butt.
Or they have neck tattoos.
Or they have a mustache.
You
if
guys.
they don't, if they don't have
I
a bio,
don't.
yeah, if they don't have a bio and I can't pull something from their photos, I'll open with something obscure, which I fucking love. And a lot of times I'll open with something obscure anyway.
Yeah.
So my favorite opener is send me a screenshot of your most recent orders on Amazon. It's
That's
one of my
solid.
absolute favorites.
I like that.
That's a Bumble only. That's a
It is
Bumble
a Bumble
exclusive.
only because it's the only one you can send photos on. Or I'll just ask them what if I'm not on Bumble, I'll ask them what's on your lock screen on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Or if a hot dog or a T-shirt would it have arms? And it's a real question.
Well, that's perfect because my next suggestion was ask a question even if it's completely random. Like
That, yeah, like
Yeah.
that.
But like you kind of mentioned that he was asking some really solid questions. Like I was entertained by Homeboy asking
Yeah,
awesome questions.
really good questions.
Like at one point, the app serves two purposes. One, it's to date. Two is for entertainment value, I'd
Mhm.
say. And like if I'm having a good conversation with someone,
Yeah.
I'm in it for that too. That's great. My suggestion is keep it brief. How do you guys feel about that for openers? You can get longer down the thread, but
For openers, yeah.
you don't want a story or
No, one guy
No.
sent me a story, and I guarantee he's copied and pasted that to every
I
other
definitely
girl.
feel that if it
Yeah.
is really long.
So I didn't like that.
Okay, I also wrote don't overuse punctuation because
do you
I get a lot of like
Like dot,
exclamation
dot,
mark, exclamation mark. Like,
Oh.
are you the most excited person in the world?
Question?
Have you seen your profile?
That is a great
You're
profile.
dressed as fucking Santa in your profile. How do you expect them to not get excited?
Sexy Santa. Yeah.
It's true. I mean, in one of your photos, you're in a bathtub of milk and cereal.
Yeah. I recently added a photo
I would get excited.
that I got in trouble for adding from Tinder.
Oh yeah, you got.
I'm gonna go ahead and
you
read
got a
that on this
warning.
episode, and if
Wait,
you'll add to
what?
our notes,
Can we add that to the cease and desist wall when we get
Yeah.
it started?
Get that.
Like all the Tinder warnings we may get.
If you'll add this to our social media nugget notes, I will throw this on our Instagram for everyone to see. I'm gonna read this verbatim, so I'm pulling it up now. Okay, so I uploaded a photo of myself and Sydney. You're gonna see it because we're gonna put it on Instagram. But it says photo tips, all bold. In general, and here this part's in all bold as well. Photos of you with other women tend to get more nopes on Tinder. Okay, unbold. So if you're posting with someone who could be your ex, you may want to rethink it. What does work? Women are loving black and white photos, so pick one of
What?
just
I know,
you
Bitches love black and
so
white.
pick one of just you to show your brooding artsy side.
Bitches love black and white. That's what they're trying.
And then
to
there's
tell
a
you.
link that says update photos. They literally sent this to me.
So did they take your photo down, or did they just suggest that you change it because
No,
it has a
I don't
girl
think they
in
can
it?
take it down, but that means that they've got an algorithm built to identify group photos. So girls out there doing the whole group photo thing as well are surely getting these Tinder tips and not adhering to it.
Tinder tips.
Tinder tips.
We're gonna create a
That's a
highlight
great photo,
on our
though.
Instagram called Tinder Tips.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we really should.
We need to.
And that's where we'll put the next thing on our agenda that I read.
Our CTA.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you visit letsdatepod.com.
Bait.
Let's bait. Let's try that again.
That one's on the Pornhubs.
Is it? If you visit letsdatepod.com, we'll have some random questions to inspire your opener game.
Yeah.
And I think we could create a highlight reel on our Instagram
for sure.
that.
We will.
Called Tinder Tips.
Hit us with your best opener, and we're gonna add it to our Tinder tips, with full credit, of course.
Unless you don't want it.
Unless you don't want it, yeah, you can. Everything you send us, I know it does have your name tied to it via DM, but we are keeping it anonymous. So this is for the viewers. How do you handle accidental matches? You're a layperson, ghosts, or unmatches. What I do is I go, whoops. I look at their profile, look at
Are
their
you
photos
negging?
and bio. No, I look at their stuff, and I do that anyways with every match just to acquaint myself with their profile so I can make a great opener.
Yeah.
But if it's someone I'm not interested in, I'm not gonna ghost them and fuck them over like that. I'm just gonna send them one sentence or two of positivity, and then I never talk to them again. That's the hard part, because when they message back, it puts me in an awkward situation. But enough people ghost me already on there that most of those
So
people,
You just sprinkle into their DMs like the fucking tooth fairy,
I can.
and then you're out.
And
a
then I'm
nice little
out.
comment.
I
that
just
this
wanted
girl's
to-
like, oh, this guy's nice.
No, just unmatch and fucking disappear, because chances are that bitch hasn't checked her Tinder
just-
all fucking day, and she's
just
not even gonna
don't
notice that you
message.
matched with her.
Just don't message.
Just delete it.
Yeah.
Fine. I will quit inspiring people.
Quit. Yeah, you're not the tooth fairy.
Fine. The other thing I do is if it's someone that I'm not interested in, or an accidental match, I should say, ask them a question that's like one that I actually have on my mind at that moment in time that they can help me answer. So an example was,
Like what?
I'm going to give you an example.
Hey, what's your favorite vegan sour cream?
No,
Like,
I was like, one time I was like, I'm going to eat out today and I really just don't know what I should get for lunch. What do you recommend?
they just think that that's a really terrible opener.
Well, that's fine. They can think that. And then they're like, you should go to Taco Bueno. And I'm like, done. And then we never talk again because I wasn't interested. But they helped me solve my crisis.
Oh my
I'm
God.
crowdsourcing Tinder.
You're crowdsourcing Tinder. No,
For your
just
lunch
unmatch.
order.
I promise you,
Well, I won't unmatch. I'm
she
just
has
going to leave
not
them in
checked
the...
it to even realize that you accidentally matched.
Mm-mm.
Unless
She?
it's like her
Like girls in general? What do you mean?
like unless they just have their notifications on, I guess.
Oh, checked for you to unmatch?
Like
Oh,
she hasn't noticed that
Tinder.
you
I see what
even
you're saying.
matched.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I thought
before
you said
she
they
even
weren't reading my
notices that
message.
you've matched, you can just unmatch, and she won't even know it even happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So
But
there's no need to like sprinkle your glitter everywhere with your positivity. You can save that shit for Instagram at the Chris Cox.
oh, great. Okay. I think we nailed it on openers.
What about openers in person?
I
Like
think
when you
I think
meet
they're
someone in
both
person.
they both apply.
I'm
You
super
have to be
bold.
entertaining in person as well.
What do you mean you're super bold?
I'm super bold in person.
In what way?
Like I'll just go up to someone and start talking to them about whatever. Like I did an event at a bar this weekend for Valentine's Day where it was my job to walk around and talk to people. So you just, usually I pick out something physical. Like if I were to approach you in a bar, I would probably point out like the gray hair in your beard and start talking to you about that.
Great.
Did you not want me to mention that?
No, we shoot in black and white, so people weren't gonna know.
Well, we shoot in black and white because bitches love black and white.
Thanks, Tinder. Okay.
Tinder tips.
Tinder
So
tips.
we'll get to more in person stuff. I like it. I like where you're going. So you've got the opener nailed. She actually responded for once. You're excited,
Or he.
or he, obviously. I'm
Ryan
just speaking
Gosling.
from my perspective.
Ryan Gosling.
How do you keep the conversation flowing? And I've thought about this a lot because I've actually been called out on this by someone that I was matched with, and I was asking them some good questions, but they eventually said like, "Is this an interview?" And I wasn't like the whole, "What do you do? What do you blah blah blah?" Because I'm not that person either. But like, I didn't realize it wasn't mutual. That I was just the one asking, and she was the one answering. It wasn't the, "Hey, what's your favorite cat breed?" And then you're like, Maine Coon, and then you say, "What's your favorite dog breed?" And then I answer, and you're like, "Trick question, I hate dogs." Like, you see how we're going? I just did a whole conversation for both of us. Homegirl, I'm like,
Thank you.
"What's your favorite cat breed?" Don't like cats. Okay. What's the best taco place in Oklahoma City? Don't know, And then eventually she's like,
Where
"Is this an
there's-
interview?" And I'm like, "I just want to get to know you."
No, it's not an interview. It's you not engaging because you're not actually interested in dating or being on this app.
So,
You just want attention and validation.
ooh. That
I agree
hits, That hits.
That's what you said.
Okay.
I feel like nobody can actually be that fucking boring that I'm gonna get heated about this.
I don't know.
I mean, people
but-
can be that fucking boring, but I feel like if you're on a dating app and you're not there
You've
to like
spent
hook
time.
up, I think if you're there to hook up, it's gonna be pretty clear in your messages.
Yeah.
Even if they're like, "Hey, what's up?" Like, if you're there to hook up, you're
Yeah.
like, your opener is, "Hey, what are you doing tonight? I'm in town tonight,"
Mhm.
or "Are you free tonight?" But if they're actually just that fucking boring, I don't think they actually know what they're doing with their life or what they
Yeah.
want.
I like that a lot.
They probably haven't made their ideal relationship list.
They probably haven't made their ideal
They for sure
relationship
haven't.
list.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what you want, nobody's ever going to be good enough. So how are you going to have a conversation with somebody.
There's your little social nugget.
There's your social nugget for
Okay.
today.
Well, on that same vein, I wrote things to avoid. It's being boring. And like, let's say you have a dry sense of humor. Like, that's not who we're talking about here. We're talking about the one-word replies.
No engagement.
Yeah, no give and take.
Yeah. Which is a
So
foreshadowing
my
to your
suggestion-
relationship if you continue down that road.
Seriously, yeah. My suggestion is, I mean, if those people are doing that, they're actually saving you time by wasting a little bit of your time in the long run, like you just said.
Because this is all a learning process.
Yeah. And then I wrote, if people have to ask you if you're a bot, that probably means you're boring as fuck. If they open with that, though, it probably just means you're super hot and don't have a bio. So write a dang bio. It's not that hard. Even if your bio says, I don't know what to write here, that
Oh
is
my
at least 1% more effort than nothing.
I try to keep
And it's not my favorite bio, but
I try to keep it going by asking things that require a reply or a response of some kind.
Mhm.
Yeah, not
it-
yes or no questions.
Not yes or no questions.
that's, yeah.
But something that would require a response. Like I had a conversation once with someone that was like, "Hey, how's it going?" kind of thing, you know. And I didn't respond, and I think he messaged me again, and he was like, "Are you staying warm or something?" It was snowing, and
Just
so
very.
and I could have been like, "Yes." And that was it, you know, but I was like, "Yeah, I am, but I actually really enjoy this weather. Do you enjoy the cold weather too?" Like hoping he would,
Yeah.
you know, engage a little, and his response was, "No, I don't like the cold."
Oh,
And that was it. And I'm like, "Okay, I'm done here. We're done. You're not."
It's over.
I'm out here trying way too hard then if I'm, yeah.
So if you're
you
not
shouldn't be like literally carrying the conversation, either party. It
Yeah.
just, that's rough.
so try to ask engaging
Yeah.
Open-ended
questions.
questions.
Yes.
Open-ended. I like it, yeah.
And reciprocate.
Yes. Think about your response. Make sure it has more than one word.
I wrote to keep conversation flowing that you should share your interests with them and try to connect yours to theirs in some shape or form. Obviously, we're all different, but surely there's common ground for nearly everyone. We're all human beings, for example.
Yeah.
We all live on Earth for now. Elon, I'll take that ticket.
Chris is going to Mars.
I would in a heartbeat. JK, I don't know if I could do it to the fam. But that's really not a hard thing to do. It's just like try to connect your interest and find that common ground.
Which it shouldn't be that hard if you have a good bio.
And pictures.
True.
If you have not a good bio, a good profile.
I also thought it was important to celebrate your differences. So look for those common ground
Oh,
things.
yeah,
those
that's a
are
good
good
one.
conversation
I
topics.
like that.
But
Like, oh, I see you like this. I don't really like that.
Yeah.
This is my opinion on it.
you're like,
But you
why
can
do you like
present
blah, blah,
that.
blah? You don't have to, you don't have to make it an antagonizing
You don't
language.
have to make it into negative.
Yeah, it could be like,
Chris.
I'm never going to burlesque dance, but
Oh yeah, don't open with that because I'll probably rip your fucking head off.
but I'd love to see one of
Because-
your shows to understand more about what it's about.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could
Boom.
say I would. Well, I don't mention that I do burlesque in my profile. So if I talk to someone for a little bit, then I will mention that I do burlesque.
Mhm.
I want to put it out there pretty quickly because a lot of people
It
aren't
could
okay
make,
with it.
yeah, it
Right.
could make people uncomfortable.
So I do put it out there pretty quickly, but I don't put it on my bio or my profile just because I don't want people to dig, even though I'm not that hard to find.
Got that name.
Just don't open with something like, "You don't seem like my type, but
Mm.
you're hot as fuck," or something, which I think we'll get to that.
The person's
Well,
already agreed that they
in an
are your
episode.
type if you've matched. That's why I hate that line.
Yeah.
That line
Yeah.
is terrible. That line is a cop out.
You don't really
But-
seem like my type, but you're hot.
But you're hot.
I've always wanted to talk to a pinup girl or a burlesque
Ugh.
dancer. Fuck off.
So my last bit on the conversation flow and how it all works is be genuine, be real, don't deceive. And you just nailed it a second ago by mentioning early on burlesque dancer because that could be a sensitive topic. So
Yeah.
what would be another good example of
Mentioning if you have kids or not.
Sure, kids is
I
good.
don't write that I
Yeah.
have children in my bio. I don't put their photos on there. I don't actually
Ooh,
post.
That
photos.
is
I don't like
very
when people
smart.
do that.
It
Yeah.
makes me
You
uncomfortable.
can put it in the bio, and I'm okay with that. But I'm not
I
okay
don't-
with
I
pictures
don't
of your
mind
kids.
it in the bio, but you don't need pictures of your kids in your profile.
Mm-mm.
I don't even post very many pictures of my kids on social media because I'm easy to find, and I don't want
Right.
that on
Mhm.
there. I don't know if they want that on there. I mean, they're young, but I don't post that many pictures of them. Maybe if it's like their birthday or if I'm on a trip with them or something, then I'll post one. But I try to keep my kids off of my social media as much as possible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I know that you would be upfront about it pretty quickly. It's more so.
I usually don't.
I just wanna
Honestly,
be
I usually
respectful.
don't mention that I have children until I'm on a date in person, and I don't know if that's right or not. But I will tell. But I also don't wait that long to meet up with someone in person. Like
That's true.
I'm
Right.
not one to talk to someone for 3 or 4 weeks and then meet them in person.
Okay, I definitely
Mhm.
think that part of it's important.
If I'm talking to someone longer than 4 or 5 days, like via text or an app or whatever, then I'll mention it.
Okay.
But if it's like we talk for 2 days and we're like, "Hey, let's go out on, 2 days from now," then I'll tell them on the date. Like we've got a time set. But if we're talking for a few days, then I'll mention it.
This is a separate episode, but I do want to discuss, and we kind of hit on it a tiny bit. But if you're on a dating app and you're not going on dates and you've been offered dates, why are you on the dating app?
Because you're not interested in dating.
Yeah.
Right.
That's one of the struggles I personally face is great conversation. I always ask for something casual, and it's like, no, I work every day of the week, midnight to midnight, for the next 4 years.
Well, Julie and I have been talking about this a little bit
Midnight
this
to
week
midnight.
because I had this conversation with somebody that mentioned like it was their list, like we made the ideal relationship
Mhm.
list, and he was like, I only have 2 things on my list. You have to be interesting and you have to be interested. And interesting is pretty self-explanatory. Like it could be able to carry on a fucking conversation, but to be interested, like you have to be actually interested in dating or interested in whatever you may be. Like you may be there for hookups. So if you're interested in hookups,
Yeah.
then that's cool. But
Or
like,
making friends.
I'm interested
or, yeah.
in a relationship. So if you're actually genuinely interested and you know what you want, you're going to make the effort to find time in your busy schedule that you work 7 days a weekend to go on dates with someone
I
that
think-
is interesting and interested in the same things that you are.
100% agree.
This is going to be a cop out, and I'm going to get some flack on this.
Here we go.
I'm ready.
I work a full-time job.
I do too. So
I
does Zeta.
also run a company. Those two are mutually exclusive, so I have to spend time outside of the one to do the other.
Mhm.
As much as I dislike the word, I'm a content creator, so I do podcasts, I do video, I do photography sessions, but if I'm interested in someone, those things can start to disappear. I don't have to have all of them all the time.
No, absolutely.
But I'm bumping into people that are doing like one thing,
I can't stand it.
and I understand and I respect that.
They do
They
one
feel like
thing,
they
have
can't.
one part-time job.
Oh, that's well. Now you're gonna trigger
Ooh.
me even more. Like I was giving full-time jobbers a pass because work is hard.
Yeah.
I really do understand that, but drive is different for different people. But yeah, that is another issue.
I'm sorry.
But
No,
I'm willing. I'm interested. I'm
are
willing to
interested.
cut. I'll say, hey,
And what,
Zeta
but
Julie, I
what
can't
you're
record this
interested in
Wednesday.
is different than what I'm interested in. I'm interested in finding an actual relationship, and you're interested in kind of dating for sport.
That's
and
not true.
Networking. You want a girlfriend?
absolutely.
Okay.
Aw.
Well, maybe I think you can be interested in more than one thing too. I mean, you've mentioned it before. Like you want to network and have fun
Oh yeah, I
And get-
definitely.
and meet new people and go on first dates because you like doing that. But you are also maybe open to the idea of meeting someone and having a girlfriend.
Oh,
So
for
you could be
sure.
interested in more than one thing. But
Mhm.
I'm totally on board with you because I have a full-time job. I own a business.
Yeah,
I own a burlesque
you have
troupe.
kids.
You have
You have
kids.
all
Perform-
these.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
perform 3 to 4 times a month. I have this podcast.
but you're here right now because you are interested and you love us,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. But I still
you
find
can make
time
Yeah, exactly.
to do the dating thing because I'm interested in finding a partner, and so interested that I found someone, 200 miles away, which is going to require a lot more effort. So we'll see how that goes.
I'm so hyped.
Stay tuned
Stay
for the
tuned.
long
Stay
distance
tuned.
episode. It's
Coming
going to happen. It's an episode that we're working on.
Yep. Let me
Okay.
do a little more research and I'll get back to you on that.
So, kind of the final topic here is timing. So, there's a plethora of things we can cover, but first, we're going to go with a little Chris's Corner. So
Oh my God. Chris's Corner. That's going to be the new
It's
highlight
going to get
reel on
a
the
little bit
Instagram.
nerdy real quick, and I'm just going to read.
Shocking.
This is what I've written for this episode. You guys can chime in, but I'm just going to read this verbatim, and if you want to add, please do. So, to answer the question of when to text back, how to communicate, blah, 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 timing specifically, I was like, I can't answer this question without thinking of how communication was invented. Let's go way back to like 30 years ago.
To 30
Way
years
back.
ago.
No, but we can go back to whenever. It doesn't matter. But the original form of communication was in person.
Yeah.
Like, that was the only way you could communicate with somebody. Okay. It's a very fluid, fast, real time. You can see and hear emotion in their voice. If you're being deceived to your face, you can usually figure that out pretty quick. Granted, there's great liars out there, whatever.
Yeah.
Unrelated, we can talk about that later.
There's I read something on someone's bio a long time ago, and I wish I would have screenshot it. But it said something about there being a study that says that like your online presence is only about 7% of your personality. So only about 7% of your
mine.
personality comes out in your dating profile and like your communication and messaging. And he was like, "We're working with 7% here, people."
Can
And
you
that
write
fucking
that
blew
down?
my
Yeah,
mind.
I definitely want to look into that.
I haven't been able to find the article. I haven't looked for it very hard either. So I bet
If we find
I
it,
bet
it's
you can
going on
find
Let's
it.
Date Pod for sure, because
Yeah.
that's
But it's
fantastic.
kind of always stuck in my mind that you're working with 7% of someone's personality, and I think that's why I do entertain the "Hey, how's it going?" people.
Because they could
Really-
actually be,
Yeah, they
yeah.
could actually be interesting,
Um,
but are they interested?
I like that. We'll find the exact stat. We'll throw that to y'all. Obviously, I'm one of the
let's go down the-
outliers because I'm super special.
Let's go down this communication
So
history
after
hole.
in person, we had. Oh, I put it out of order, but writing a letter essentially was kind of like the next form of communication. But I wanted to highlight that because it's kind of formal. It's a thought out communication. You're writing it and then rereading it, and you don't have to send it until it's been completed.
Yeah.
So you've processed this thought twice. But when you're talking, again, that real timeness, you accidentally say something you didn't mean to say, or you make an observation or whatever. It's unforgiving. So even in writing a letter, I think, like the research you just mentioned, you aren't completely genuinely 100% yourself because you are an edited version of yourself. But it's pretty damn close still. Like, you're not completely
takes a lot
tricking
of
people.
effort.
Yeah.
And then turn it to telephone calls, which again, kind of the same as in person, but we lose the sense of seeing the emotion. So again, there's a little level of deception there. But now, fast forward to the modern age, texting / DMing, whatever you want to call it, fast paced. It's instantly sent. So it is like conversation if you're doing it that style, but it doesn't have to be because you can answer it at your own pace. So you could do it in the style of a written letter instead of a. But it's very hard to read emotion. Even if you use emojis, they can be misinterpreted.
I always overthink text messages before I send them, and I try to add
Yeah,
some kind of emoji
to set the tone.
or
Yeah.
I'll just flat out say I actually sent a message today to Doug, the professional wrestler, and I was like, just so you know, that was 51% playful and
Okay.
49% serious.
Oh shoot! So
I like
I did
that.
that to y'all though. I sent something. I was like, that was way too direct. And my next text was like, I'm not mad. I'm not trying to be mean. I just think this would be a great way to improve on. I'm pretty sure it was the podcast.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
and I think you guys already know that that's who I am. But again, the fact that I thought it meant that you could have thought it, so I wanted to correct it fast.
this
Right.
is
People will
all-
overanalyze written communication.
We need to find this article because there was more to the 7% thing.
Yeah, I
but,
want to
like,
read
stuff
it.
like that was in it too. That you lose such and such like percentage of the personality. You lose this percentage of the emotion. You lose it in.
And that's
We'll find
why
it
I wanted
somewhere.
this podcast to be available via video as well.
Check us out on Pornhub.
It's on there. Let's Date Pod. And then the final thing I wanted to add to text messaging, modern day communication, is it can be very overwhelming in the sense that now you've made yourself accessible to so many people.
Yes.
Let's say you're in 1920s, you're only accessible to people 10 miles radius around you probably. Now, like, people from across the world, people from Mars could
My
contact
two
me.
best friends, the ones in Ireland. And
They
ones
don't
in
even
England.
live here, and you guys talk every day, I bet,
Every
right?
fucking day.
And that is fantastic, and I would never want that to stop, but that's a lot of messages
I
coming
get
in
off
from
work
different
sometimes 'cause,
directions.
I do nails, so I work with my hands, and I can't always look. So I got off work today, and I hadn't touched my phone in 6 hours, and I look, and there's 97 fucking text messages.
90 of
I-
them were for me.
I open our text thread, and
was a
about
lot.
53 of them disappeared immediately.
Yeah, we had a lot
So-
today.
Yeah, it was a little overwhelming. So by the time I got here 8 minutes late, you were a little
Diva.
irritated that I hadn't opened it or looked at the
No,
agenda yet.
I'm just, I need to get this to you all sooner. It's a lot of information, and I want us to be helping as many people as possible, and I think this structure is doing that. And if you are inspired by the podcast, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth right now. The messages that we've gotten just from a handful of people thanking us or suggesting topics, like, it definitely makes me
I'm
feel better
genuinely
about
shocked at the amount of
what I'm
messages
doing.
I've received, like on my personal Instagram from people I don't even know.
it.
That are
Feels
like,
really
I've
good.
followed you
That's
for
good.
years, and it's so good to like hear your podcast and your
Yeah.
thoughts. I love it. I never expected that, so
So-
I really like it.
I went on a date with a guy last week, and like one of the first few things he said to me was, "So I listened to the podcast today." And I was like, "Really?"
Did you
Yes.
take your top off right then and there?
Oh boy. She's not a burlesque dancer, Zeta.
So back to like being overwhelmed by messages, Chris. When do you text back,
When do I text back?
or when do you message back?
So yeah.
Are we talking about just texting, or are we talking about like messaging?
Well, we're talking about all
I guess we can talk about
digital communication.
okay, because
that-
you may have met someone in person and given
Yeah.
them your number.
Text, Snap, DM.
Okay, well, when do you message back?
So for me personally, not like per se as soon as I get the message, but if my phone's already in my hand, which is a good chunk of the time, I'll admit to that, I'm going to respond right away.
Yeah.
And there's two reasons to that. One, I'm a completionist, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Two, though, is I'm thinking if I don't
That's how you get
do
punched
this-
in the face. For real. Check
I
out
don't-
episode 1.
if I don't do this now, I'll forget. Or you see the text preview and you read it. You can read really fast. Most people.
I don't
I'm
have
not
the
that
text preview.
special.
Mine just says iMessage.
Oh, that's shady as fuck.
Yeah.
don't
What are
want
you
pe-
hiding?
well,
What are you hiding?
I don't want
Who
people
are
to be
you?
looking at my stuff.
But why?
I have.
Okay,
I have
well,
text
Julie's a dirty
preview.
girl.
She is a dirty girl.
But yeah. So mine's literally as soon as humanly possible. What about you?
I don't give myself like a window or anything. Like, oh,
Okay.
he texts me, I have to wait.
Mhm.
That's what I specifically wrote
yes.
this for because
Yeah,
people are
I'm
out
like
there
you. Like,
doing
if I have
that.
my phone in my hand, then I'll respond.
Yeah.
So you guys, I think, have both known me long enough to know that I either respond immediately
Mhm.
or it's 8 hours later.
Yeah.
I've
or
known
it's
you
not
long
at
enough
all.
to feel comfortable sending you at least 20 text messages in a row.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please. I love multiple texters. Like,
I do too.
Oh shit, really?
Because
Because I'm
I'll
out here
either
just
respond
capping
immediately,
myself out.
Or I'll get off work and be like, fuck, I've got 87 fucking text messages to go through. And I'll get to it. Or I'll check it while I'm working, look at it, open it, and then fucking forget about it.
That's the problem, yeah.
And then
That's
I'll
me.
walk in the door and see you in person 2 days later and be like, oh, fuck, I got your text and here's my reply. So, yeah, it all depends, I guess.
Okay.
But it kind of goes back to if you're actually interested in someone, you're going to be looking out for those texts and
Mhm.
you're going to be like, oh my God, if they text me and I haven't replied.
Yeah.
So you'll make the effort to go back and check and look and reply with something more thoughtful than, a 2-word response.
This isn't necessarily dating advice. It's just being
A good person.
a good friend advice or person. My personal is again, completionist though. I just tend to scroll through every now and again because I miss quite a few sometimes because I get date text, friend text, family text, business text, which I should never sign myself up to get business text. That's a terrible decision. If you're starting your own business, keep them in email or Slack or something other than text, because text should be reserved for those 3 other things I mentioned. But I specifically don't open the business ones, for example. So I do have those little bubbles because I do need to go back and read them at specific times.
How many unread bubbles do you have on your phone? What does that mean?
How many?
Like text?
Oh, I have quite a few right now, but it's because we've been in snooze mode for the
Yeah.
podcast.
Are you just talking text?
So for text, I only have 2, which is solid. But I'm talking about everything. This is to prove if you're a completionist. The highest number I have on here is 21, and that's my Gmail, and I have several accounts tied to that.
I have 37,119 emails.
What?
What?
You're not a completionist, honey.
Honey.
No, and I have 19 voicemails.
Oh.
So don't ever leave me a voicemail.
The red bubbles give me anxiety.
I'm the same.
You would not like my phone.
No, I
Look
don't
at
even. No,
this.
no,
Look,
no.
look
no,
at it.
no.
Can we
can't.
screenshot it and like post it? Look.
We can, but we're gonna get unfollowed
All of
so
my dating
fast.
apps are off right now, so I don't have any notifications on them.
37,000.
119.
Okay.
I have one unread text
In the same
because
thought
you guys
process
are here.
Right.
Do you use read receipts?
Absolutely fucking not.
Do you use read receipts?
I have read receipts on.
Bitch.
However,
Oh, yeah. Please defend yourself.
I don't open them until I'm ready to reply.
Yes. I don't. I
Then
do
what's
that
the
for
point?
Instagram messages
Why?
because I know that they'll say seen.
Does it though? For
Instagram
there's
messages.
not,
Instagram
there's
says
not an
seen.
option. Oh.
Yeah.
Um,
Instagram messages say seen, and you cannot mark it unread unless you have a business account.
Oh yeah, I do.
So, like on my nail account, I'll open them and then I can mark them unread.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. never
But
mind,
on
we're
my
good.
other ones, like I won't open them. Like I think I have like 19 messages from you on my personal account because I just don't open them because
From
you send
me?
me videos and it drives me crazy.
Made
Do
on
you not
Instagram.
use read receipts?
No, I was trying to. I need your help. I'm trying to wrap my head around. I don't think there's a way to use them that is not hurtful.
It's true. They're manipulative, and I don't like it.
And
I use-
you're not
couples
using them
should
to
just
hurt
have them off.
people.
No.
But
So
couples, all people.
All people, but I'm just saying.
I think even friends.
couples are probably where it gets the most hurtful, or where
See-
people get their
Oh,
feelings hurt.
that happened to someone
Oh.
today actually, and she didn't send it directly to our Instagram, so I'm not gonna repeat any of it. But it was a miscommunication in that form,
Mm.
and she was very upset about it.
Yeah,
And I understand
will
why
never have
because
my
it's a
read
hurtful
receipts
thing.
on
See,
with someone I'm dating ever again.
I feel the opposite. So, I mean, I get busy at work. I want to acknowledge that you've seen my message and that you'll get back to me later. If I'm in a relationship.
That's what the where you can like or heart or
Mm.
emphasize messages.
Yeah, that's that thumbs up.
Mhm.
use that. But
Yeah.
I don't want to know that you've read it and you've ignored me because then I'll have anxiety all day.
Yeah, I only find read receipts to be very hurtful. I rather like this is how I text anyways. I'll text you and I just know that you're at work. I don't care but if you had a read receipt on and be like clearly she took a break but she couldn't text me back.
But probably I didn't. I probably
probably
just,
she
like,
didn't.
I
Probably
didn't even
she's
touch my phone. Like, I
pulling this
leaned
down to
over.
turn the volume down and accidentally you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
that's
but
more
I'm
like
not
it.
going to think that. I'm going to think she took a fucking break
Yeah.
and read my message and can't text back yes,
Yeah.
you know?
You'll know if I've not responded, but I've watched your Instagram stories.
So make your own decisions. We're not here to tell you what to do, but I think you should turn read receipts off. I've only found them to be hurtful, and I don't think we should be hurtful people.
Why do people wait to text back?
Yeah. Why do they?
Are you
Okay.
getting mad because I'm reading the questions before
I don't
you?
like.
Oh no,
You
that's
got
great.
a little
That's good.
sass.
No, that's I did. No,
Yeah,
because
you
I'm
did.
triggered by this question.
Oh, okay.
Chris and I-
I
No.
sensed something,
Yeah.
Just ask the questions. It
and
helps.
that was it.
No,
Chris and
no.
I texted about this today.
So
like,
You guys have your own text thread without me?
well, that's
well-
what happens when you don't text back.
It's
I
okay.
don't-
I text Julie about all of my dating adventures recently.
Well, you're supposed to.
if I like you, I'm going to reply back to you. I don't know why I have to wait 30 minutes, an hour,
It
a
doesn't.
day to respond.
Well, I tried to do the old Chris take on this one and do some research, and I didn't really find anything very conclusive, but I did find some stuff I wanted to highlight just to give people some comfort.
All right.
So,
Okay.
life, work, sleep, or maybe they have quiet hours on their phones. So, me, for example,
Sleep.
my
Really?
phone, once it hits 11 p.m., I'm still up doing stuff, but I'm like, this is like sleep mode. I'm trying to do chill things, Netflix,
Mm.
whatever, pet my cat. Like, I'm not going to look at anything till the
Shave your
next day.
cat.
Pet my
And
cat.
so I literally don't even get the notification. The other thing is not in the mood. But this one's specifically for dating, I would say. It doesn't have to be. It could be real life. But
Yeah.
I was highlighting that because dating does take energy, and you have to be this is the wrong word, but you have to be like turned on. And I mean that as like energetically and emotionally, like if
Can we
I'm
use
talking
the
to someone
word
I'm
of
interested
the word
in.
of the day? Interested.
Interested,
You
yeah.
need to be interested in doing it that day at that time, and if you're not, then you need to
So I said
shut it off.
to them, you're still a stranger, so you don't have priority. You really don't
Ooh.
know what they're going through. You don't know what
Mhm.
anyone's going through.
I think that's really important to remember when you're dating.
And it's hard to always remember that. And it is
Especially-
disheartening if it happens repetitively. But I always try to think, I don't know what this person's going through.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
It could be nothing.
Yeah.
Or it could be really bad shit.
I'm an
And they don't have
over-communicator
time
though, and
for-
like I'll tell you, like I had
I'm down for that.
such a fucking busy weekend, social event after social event, and then I went to Dallas on Monday, and then
Yeah.
yesterday
Drained.
I drove in from Dallas straight to work, worked all day, and then I text Doug the Wrestler on my way home, and I said, I'm going to disappear. I'm going to get Chili's to go. I'm going to go home and
To
eat it.
go?
Yes, and I'm going to go home and eat it in bed and watch The Bachelor alone and not do anything. And he said, enjoy your alone time. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
And I love that you
I
told
love
him
that.
that. And I obviously Doug the professional wrestler is a good dude if that's how he responds to that. I think
Yeah.
that's fantastic. But I also just want to reiterate one more time. I didn't know any of that was happening to you, for example. So like if you didn't text me back, I mean I'm chill too, so I wouldn't have cared. But per se,
Oh,
if
yeah,
I'm
I probably
trying to
should've told
date
you
you
too.
and you didn't, no, I'm trying to say I'm trying to date you and that was your situation. You don't have to text me back because you can go through your stuff.
You know why?
And I'm going to give you the space,
Because you don't
even though
owe
you haven't even
anybody
asked for
shit.
it. Exactly. So
But
again,
I feel like if you get into it to the length that Doug, the professional
the courting,
wrestler, and
the
I-
courting,
Oh,
courtship has gone for enough.
Then
Yeah.
you should communicate that, even if it is.
Oh, I mean,
simply-
always.
Even if it's just simply, I had social interaction every single fucking day this week, and then I spent the last 24 hours with you, which was fucking great, but we didn't leave each other's side for 24 hours, and then I went straight to work. I'm gonna go home and stare at the wall and eat Chili's in bed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would always prefer them to tell me,
Mhm.
and I'm very understanding
I
of
just
that.
don't
But I
think
also
people
just
should
don't want to
be, like,
assume.
Ashamed of it either.
No.
Like, fucking tell them, man. Tell people what's
Yeah.
going on. Even
Like-
if it's like Julie and I'm like, yo, I got your 8 fucking text messages today, but I'm gonna go home and stare at the wall and I'll text you tomorrow.
Talk to you tomorrow.
So
Yeah.
that kind of highlights one of our recap items that everyone's communication style is different. You're an oversharer,
Yeah.
is that what you said?
Yeah.
And that's actually what I prefer as well. I'd rather not be
I'm
guessing.
either, well, I can go both ways. I'm either an oversharer or I fucking cut you off.
That's exactly how I am.
Well, okay. We'll
Both
touch on that
sides.
in a second. One other thing that I was kind of finding to be a common theme was not everyone shares your communication style. And what I mean by that is me, I'm a texter or
It's-
emailer. I prefer written form
I love your
communication.
notes. Ask them if they'd rather text, talk, Snap, IG, Venmo.
Yeah. Like I've matched with people who don't want to text, for example, but will send snap pictures with text over them back and forth. It's really fucking weird, but
Yeah,
that's just
weird.
a generational thing probably.
I like to talk on the phone.
And then
Yeah.
in my notes later on, I was talking about how it says verbatim, Zeta loves a good FaceTime.
I do love a good it does say that.
It says that in the notes.
do
And then
love a
it
good
also says
FaceTime.
that my mom, for example, likes to call me over things that are like a quick text. And that's okay because that's what her communication style is. And so like those things are fixable.
Mhm.
But I don't think people think about that.
Yeah.
So
No, I
just
love,
figure it out. Like if
I
you
love
want to
it.
FaceTime and I'm pursuing you, or vice versa, I like to text. Like let's find that mutual. Let's FaceTime on Wednesdays. Let's whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm getting to the point. I like talking on the phone too. I think I might prefer talking on the phone over FaceTime, because I am so busy, and like I like that
Yeah, easier.
Doug, the professional wrestler, can call me,
Yeah.
and I can still like work on rhinestoning stuff, like for burlesque if I'm working
Mhm.
on a costume, or if I'm working like doing whatever else with my hands, or if I'm
Driving in the
looking
car.
over the agenda or driving the car or whatever. Like I like being able to multitask.
Mhm.
So you don't communicate with anyone on Venmo like I do.
No.
No.
It's just these girls
you-
have their Venmos. And I'm just
Ryan
kidding.
Gosling is not going to accept your Venmo request.
Ooh, he probably won't.
He'll accept mine.
Bitch.
Mom loves to talk on the phone, even if it's text worthy.
The last thing
Happy birthday.
I said why people
Oh.
wait to text you back. Actually, there's two. I didn't write this one on the list. One is they are manipulative.
Hmm.
It's
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
rude. If
Yeah.
you're that person that gets a text, you say, "Yeah, I gotta wait like 30 minutes." Ooh, if you like set an alarm on your phone, those people don't exist, right?
They
If you
do
do-
exist.
If you do something like that, you're
Oh.
garbage. And I said it. That's on the record. It's on the internet forever.
Are you a multiple texter? I know you are to us. Like the next question on here is, do you text back 2, 3 plus more times? Are you a multiple texter to someone that you're trying to pursue or dating?
Yes,
It depends on the context.
I think so too.
Like if I'm telling a story, I'm one of those people who will like send a sentence and then be like, and then
Oh my
send
God.
I
another
definitely
one.
do that. I try not to,
Yes.
but I think
I'm gonna call her out, my friend Grace, and like
Can we keep
we
keep
just
this?
talked about her, one of my international BFFs I talk to every day. But she tells stories like that, and I'll open my phone and be like, "You have 119 text messages," and I'm like, "Grace is telling a story,"
yeah.
and she'll just be hitting it up with
Well,
all the messages.
there's definitely. I don't want to dive too deep into all this, but there's definitely a strategy of doing what Julie's doing here in the storytelling way. It's a good way to create drama and pacing and blah blah blah. But I wanted to touch more on if I sent a text to someone I'm pursuing and they don't respond, or they send me a fucking read receipt. Do I send them the second and the third, the fourth? I think that's
if
more
you know
so
that they've read it. Do
'cause
you
it-
keep texting? Is that what you're asking?
Well, not necessarily. I just using that as an example. But for me, I think a second text is okay. I think a third is okay. But for myself, I kind of cap myself
I
off
stop
of
at 3.
unresponded text for separate topics. So if it's like, what are you doing Wednesday? No reply. Like, next question should be just like, hey, you're probably busy, but maybe we can get together. Just let me know next time you're free. That's pretty fair. But I also like to
mine will
remember.
always be like separate topics. Like it might be
Well, that's
throughout the day.
what I was trying to do. I just provided a bad example.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm
Separate
just trying to say,
topics.
like, one, there's also a point of where I'm just demoralized. Two, there's a point where, like, okay, like, clearly they don't want to talk to you. But then the third one is, if you send one and you are just so caught up on them not waiting for them to reply,
Mhm.
I think that's your mistake because people forget, like we talked about earlier. So I think
Yeah.
a second one's always okay.
Second one I think is fine because sometimes
would
I
say
do
always.
just forget.
Exactly. Or you
Yeah.
popped it open and yeah. Especially talking male to female, male pursuant on dating apps. Ugh, I can say the word, I promise. Because think about this. I bet y'all matches are just flooding in and messages are flooding in. Whereas vice versa, it's a slower. So you're probably getting hit up at any point by 10 plus dudes, whereas an average male's profile is like 3 to 5, you know?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we're talking strategy now, that my messages are on top. And also, I'm not going to spam
Oh.
somebody either.
You're talking about being the
Oh.
alpha male.
No.
Yes.
I'm talking about
you want your messages
algorithms.
to be on top.
So
I mean, you don't win if you're not the one you're talking to her. Let's hit this recap. And then I think maybe question mark. We've got some audience sent in
we have some
questions.
questions.
Are they
Um,
actually like from real life people?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Why don't you get this first one here? Or do you? I'll read this first one. So
You have them? Am I
Here-
the only one that doesn't know the questions?
no, here's parting advice. Here's our recap. Everyone's
don't owe
communication
anyone shit.
style. Yeah, that's the recap of every episode
Every
ever.
episode.
And be a good person. Everyone's communication style is different. Personally, I prefer written so I can reread and have multiple conversations at once. Zeta loves a good FaceTime. My
I love a
mom
good
loves to talk on
FaceTime.
the phone. And Julie won't stop sending me emails at let's date pod. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think we have any. Do we have an
we
email?
have an
I
e-
don't know.
No.
Who
No, we don't.
cares? Next. Yeah. Okay, so people forget a second text or DM or whatever is
It's
okay.
fine.
Like, don't freak out about it. I personally think 3 is pretty chill as well. 4 is where I feel unliked at that point. And then lastly, this is something I don't think a lot of people consider when dating, but communication style is important. Once you find whatever jives for both of y'all, you can have so much more success. And I think that's a good thing to think about in terms of your relationship being sustainable. If I can't talk to you,
Well, I think that
throughout the
goes-
day,
comes
it's gonna
down
be
to love
hard
languages,
for-
doesn't it?
yeah,
Which is going to be an episode.
It will.
it will, yeah. All right, so we're jumping into what you've been asking us.
Yeah.
Julie's gathered our questions. Zeta and I have not seen them prior. If you have questions, DM us.
DM us or DM me.
DM Julie. Hit up the website. There's a little submission thing on every post.
Mhm.
And we're going to answer them. So send us more questions. We love them. They don't even have to be related to whatever the topic is. They can be anything you want.
Anything you want.
Anything you want.
Somewhat related to dating, but we don't have to,
Dating,
I guess. Sex advice. Yeah.
marriage, whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
So what
Oh.
do you have for us?
This first one is related to our topic today.
Lucky.
This is on Tinder specifically
Okay.
because Bumble, the girl has to message first.
Okay.
But on Tinder, who should message first?
I mean, that's a really good question.
I think the person that matches. If you're the person that swipes and
Yeah.
you
And
get
you
the
pop
pop up,
I think that's
hey,
pretty
you've
good.
matched, then you should message them. What drives me crazy is when you match
Yeah,
with someone and
to
you just
wait.
let it sit.
Oops.
I don't let it sit for very long, and I'll unmatch them. You guys don't like to unmatch, but I'll unmatch them because at that point I'm like, well, clearly I'm not that interested, so I'll just unmatch them. If I don't have something to say to you immediately, there's not something I can pull from your bio or your profile immediately, then I don't have a lot to say. Like,
I'm going to agree with you on that. The matcher should be the first message. And the reason I'm agreeing is because there's nothing quite heartwarming as you've got a new match. Zeta has sent you a message. You know how the notifications
I
come
like
through?
seeing both of those on my
That
phone.
makes me
Yeah.
feel like someone is interested. And then my secondary answer, though, is I guess I'm rooted in old times. I think if there's some weird scenario where there was a wait period that the guy should initiate, but I feel like that's just because society's always told us to do that.
yeah, with all
But
that,
a girl who initiates, like, you've already earned so many points in my book.
well, with
Mhm.
that, in that same realm, Doug the professional wrestler and I met on Tinder, and I was not the matcher, I guess, because I got a notification later. You know, you've matched
Yeah.
with Doug the professional wrestler, and I knew exactly what I wanted to say to him because he had a one-liner, and it was good, and I knew exactly what I wanted to respond to. Like, I was like, if I match with this guy, I know what I'm going to say. And so later I got on, and it was like, you've matched with Doug the professional wrestler. So I clicked on it, and I replied. So I didn't wait. Like, he didn't.
Well,
he
he
was
technically did, but
he did. I did
did.
not. Like, as soon as I noticed that we matched, I messaged him.
yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, a wait period's totally fine. Like, sometimes if you're me, you have a set time of day and you've just got to get through all those daily swipes.
Oh my god.
You
Like,
might
it's a
not get to the
chore.
messaging. It is a
No,
chore.
but
No.
all I'm saying is, like, I don't think that it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't.
Like the
No.
matcher, I guess, like the person that gets the like the instant
Yeah,
screen of matching.
I think it should be. I think you're right on that, though.
But I think you should consider what you're going to say in a message
That's what else I was going to touch on.
before
Those.
you even swipe.
Yeah.
So like when I came across his profile,
What? No.
I knew exactly what I wanted to say, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna swipe right because I know how I would reply to this.
Well, being as someone who uses their time wisely, I'm not going to think about that. Because what if you don't even match them? You've wasted this time, and it adds
I
up really
wasted the 2
fast.
seconds reading their fucking profile, and I knew what I was gonna say.
I guarantee it takes longer than that. But also, you multiply that by the amount of times you're doing it by a year. Say you're single for a year, like someone's goal in this room was.
Jesus Christ.
That's a lot of time. Wow.
I don't know. I'm a
Time's the
planner,
one thing you
though.
can't
She's
get back. This is now a
interested.
financial advice podcast. Time is the one thing rich people can't even buy back. Jeff Bezos is going to pass when he's due.
When
He
he's
can't buy
due.
he can't buy more time. He could buy whatever the fuck else he wants. He could buy us a sponsorship, Amazon Prime.
We need
Just
a
kidding.
coffee
That would be great.
table.
I'm sorry I
need a
blew
new
the audio
table.
on that. We really
We
do.
need a new table.
I don't know. I respect that is your
I
philosophy,
like to have a plan.
but I don't think it's the best use of your time.
Wow. Well, my Tinder's off right now, so
Clearly, your style has paid off more
It
than mine.
worked.
Yeah.
all right. Next question then.
Okay.
I'll always admit defeat. If defeated,
Because you like strong women.
I do like strong women. That is factual. Not physically strong. I mean, I'm not against it, but
Yeah, we learned that in the first
Yeah.
episode.
okay.
Okay.
Real quick story. A stranger who is now a excellent fan saw me at the Jones. I can name drop. I don't really care. And he said, "You Chris Cox?" I said, "Yeah," because this happens for many reasons. People might recognize my face from being punched, which he did, or
Did
food
he
stuff,
really
whatever.
ask you?
He
Like,
goes, "You got punched in the face by a girl, right?" I said, "Yeah."
Yeah,
And then our other friend there, who was kind of like mutual, so we weren't like total strangers, but we had just met. He goes, "Yeah, he got punched in the face," and he was like hyping me up. I was like, "That's kind of dope though," because I was at the end of the podcast. He listens to the whole thing, so I already like the guy because
That's
of
the only
that.
thing you can focus on is you listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, but I'm glad me getting punched in the face has brought smiles to other people's faces because it brought pain to mine.
Good job.
Yeah.
Took one for the team.
Changing the world one hookup punch at a time.
That's what I'm changing my
At the
bio
Chris
to.
Cox.
All right. What else you got?
What is the best kind of compliment to give someone?
Oh my god. So should we talk about Chris's negging just today?
That's the only time I've done it. It's because I hate
It's the
Hinge.
only time I've done it. I don't believe that at all.
It is. So if you're listening, Hinge executives, your app is completely one-sided. I've got two ladies right here that completely agree with me, even though they didn't want to, but we did a side-by-side comparison. It's not a good app.
They can't help it.
To be fair, like
They
Delete-
can't help
delete
put
the
signs
app.
up
Zeta
further.
and I are both on Hinge.
Well, Hinge is the app that's meant to be deleted. Made
and
for...
you didn't see either one of us on there.
I know, that's also very weird.
So there has to be like quality profiles out there. They're just hiding.
Yeah, either that or it's just me and Julie.
That's right. They're the only quality out there.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's absolutely true.
Yeah. Well,
Anywho, yeah,
compliments?
best
Compliments.
compliment.
Because
I think
What
not
do you
physical
mean?
appearance.
well, because I think sometimes like Jesus fuck you're hot. Like sometimes compliments can be
He thought he was complimenting you for real, but it's not good.
Yeah.
Ah.
Sometimes they can be backhanded or like
I personally
Mm.
think physical attribute compliments, other than ones like
Or
Weird
like the guy
ones,
that
yeah.
said, wow, you're really intelligent for such a beautiful woman.
see.
yeah.
Not a great compliment.
Those aren't things you should say.
No, you could
I
have
like to
stopped.
compliment people on their passion or drive or
Yes.
fuck. I mean, if they have great photos, that's usually my first compliment. I'm like, you have fantastic photos. Like, but also that compliment unlocks some of my personality. I'm very visual, so like, I feel like that's a,
What if
it's
you
a double
are...
double compliment.
What if you are going to compliment someone on their physical appearance? Is there something that you
No, I
like to
think it's
do?
totally okay, and I'm a male, so it doesn't happen as often to me. but I do enjoy it. But as long as you're not like sexualizing them, I think it's okay.
Okay.
I mean, you can also do it and sexualize them. Like that's can be like a hot conversation, I guess. But I
Depends on
personally,
what
it's
you're
not my
interested in.
philosophy to be like, you've got great boobs.
I do have great tits. Though.
So she says.
You can see them on our Instagram.
You actually
at
can,
Let's
I
Date
think.
Pod.
Yeah. So, but I don't think it's appropriate. I mean, it'd be funny if, because I know you and I can say that, but like,
I like to compliment maybe things that most people wouldn't notice. Like I love freckles and stuff like that. So if
we'll see. I think that's
I love
okay.
freckles and I love scars. So like if you have a really cool scar like in your eyebrow or like on your face or something, I'm like, I really like your
Specifically
scar.
in your eyebrow.
Dude,
Yeah.
I, as a kid, really liked that look, and I had a knife out,
Well, not like that look.
and I was like, should I cut my eyebrow and give it a scar?
If
But I
you
didn't,
did,
but I
would've-
should have.
It would have definitely been
I have
something.
regrets.
It probably would have been my opening line to you when we met. But
No,
instead
you
it's
liked,
something else.
it would never have been anything else.
But like for you, like I love the gray in your beard, and that's something I would probably
Twice.
compliment you on is the
It's
gray.
coming in
your
here
beard.
now, too.
I know, I love it. But that's not something that everyone has or that everyone can do. Like not all men can grow a beard like yours either. So that's another thing that I like to compliment people on is something that they may have that not everyone has a great beard. Like
Yeah.
everyone has scars and stuff, but you know, not everyone can grow a beard.
I don't
as
think
nice
everyone has
as
scars.
yours.
Have you ever broken a bone?
Have I ever broken a bone?
Yeah.
No.
Have you ever broken a bone?
No.
Me either.
Wow.
Drink your milk.
Look
JK
at us.
lactose.
Okay, one more question. Do you bring gifts to a date?
Oh.
First date. Let's do first date, and then let's do.
Okay.
Not a first date.
So
Yeah.
on a
Gifts
first
don't-
date,
like
do you
we were
bring
talking
gifts?
about love language. Gifts is my
that
love
is-
language.
Oh yeah.
So I like little quirky things. So if,
Tinder bubble
but I would
match.
do that for anybody. So if I knew that someone would
What
like
caliber
something,
are you talking then? Like a trinket.
like a trinket.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
say I have like a little trinket.
Well, if I
and
brought you flowers and chocolate, first date.
flowers would be fine. Chocolate's weird. Unless it's something that we had discussed
Flowers are
before
fine.
and that I was like, oh my God, I fucking love chocolate.
I
Like,
guess I've definitely.
Yeah.
And you,
It has to be. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I
Or
get
if I
that.
was like, I fucking love Reese's. Like my thing.
I would
this
totally.
is
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
One of my weird things is I love Reese's and Red Bull together. If you brought me Reese's and Red Bull,
Yeah,
Fuck.
you would like that.
I would like that. I would think that's cute. Maybe not on a first date, but
Can you call to action social media? We're just gonna take a picture of her with her Reese's and Red Bull. I want to take a video of her eating that. 'Cause that sounds terrible. I'm sorry.
I like it. It's,
Hey, whatever.
but I think it's fine to bring.
Okay.
Like, if it's something that had been discussed previously.
For darn sure on that,
But
like
if I had,
especially
like-
small items.
If I had like a trinket, like say I picked up like a tiny metal statue of a tiger like 5 years ago in an estate sale, it meant nothing to me. It just sat on my shelf.
I want it.
I matched with you on Tinder, and I'm like, oh, you like tigers? And you're like, I fucking love tigers. If I went on a first date with you, I would bring it to you and give it to you because it
Yeah.
means nothing to me. I got an estate sale; it's been sitting there forever. You fucking love tigers. I'd be like, here's a trinket. I've had this for years. I think you should have it. Something like that. I think it's cute.
I agree.
But if it's like flowers, I like flowers.
I still think flowers are kind of weird, but not completely.
I think it's just weird because you have to carry them around all night.
That's my concern.
Oh.
Like I don't want to hang on to it.
Yeah,
I
but
want
if
to
it's
put
something
it in
that-
my purse.
yeah,
Mhm.
if
And
it's
then
something that
just-
you've shared or something that you've noticed, like, oh, I noticed you love tigers. I brought you this little tiger
Mhm.
trinket. I think that's really, really fucking cute. I love bats. So if someone was like, I got you this little bat trinket,
Yeah.
I would
You'd be
love that.
down.
Or if they're like, I've had this since I was a kid. It's a little bat pencil. I would
Yeah.
think that's really cute.
Okay. I'm not necessarily pro first date gifts. I do agree trinkets and small items are totally chill. I think buying them a drink and buying them some dinner and stuff like that kind of feels like a gift too. How do you feel about that?
Do I think that's a gift?
Yeah. What do you
No,
what do you
it's not a
classify that
gift.
as?
It's,
No.
no.
I've got a secondary question, follow-up question.
Okay.
Not necessarily related to dating, but I'm going to make it that way. You go on a date.
Yep.
To Chili's.
Fuck yeah.
It's a good date. Solid date.
Okay.
You're not Zeta. You're the average female.
Okay.
He's going to pay for this meal because it was a good date. He likes you.
Okay.
He pays for it with a gift card. Is the date devalued? I literally dated a girl that if we went on a date and I had a gift card or a coupon, I wasn't allowed to use it for dates. So when the fuck am I supposed to use my Chili's gift card? I'm not going by myself. Sorry, I'm not as big a fan as you, but
what date is it? Like
any. Let's not say first. Let's say first date because that is kind of weird to do on a first date.
Yeah, not on a first
Not
date.
on a
That's
first date.
weird.
Okay,
'Cause then
I
I feel
agree.
like
I'll agree to that.
That's the only reason we went there then. Is because you had a gift card.
That's why I agree with that. It's
Yeah.
because we went to Chili's because I wanted to spend my
I
25
actually
bucks.
have something to say about this because I did an event at a bar on Valentine's Day, semi-burlesque related. They wanted me to walk around like as like a sexy Cupid and talk to people or whatever. They paid me, and then on top of paying me, they gave me a gift card. And so
What?
So I text Doug, the professional wrestler, and I was
Oh,
like, hey,
okay.
next time you're in town, I'm going to take you
Oh
to
my
this
God.
place.
Well, if you play it like
So-
it's my treat, like that's a fun angle.
Yeah.
I get
so,
that.
Yeah, I think that the gift card date is cute in that.
in
Okay.
that context.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I was like,
But
hey,
not on a first
I just
date.
did this really stupid gig where I got paid to like flirt with people and walk around a bar topless, and they gave me a gift card. I'm going to take you on a date with it.
Yeah.
That's cute.
I think your framing and your language around it really helped. I think maybe perhaps in the past I wasn't as transparent that I was planning on using the gift card. Maybe I'm not sure. I can't remember. It's been a long time, but I
think
don't think it's that big of a deal,
first
right?
Date, no. Second date, no.
I get that for sure.
Third date, maybe you're like, hey, someone gave me this gift card
You think?
to Chili's.
I think telling
like,
them
do you wanna
advance every
go?
time definitely clears the air
But
for
also,
sure.
like, if you're gonna take someone on a date like that, I think you should make it fun. Like, if you had a Chili's gift card,
Then
and
you
you're
get the
like-
crazy shit, right?
and you're like, girl, let's go to Chili's. Let's go try all the margaritas at
Yeah.
the bar. I
Oh,
would think that that's
jeez.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make it fun.
Yeah, make it fun
Oh,
if you are
man.
going to use a gift card.
You know what?
Or if you're going on a first date and you have a gift card, you could be up front and be like, hey, listen, if you want to do something fun on this first date, I've got a gift card to Applebee's.
To
Let's
Applebee's.
go try all the appetizers at Applebee's. Or let's go try all the desserts at Applebee's. I think that would be funny and it'd be a fun first date. And it's fucking free. You're
So what I
welcome.
just realized, and that's why I'm sweating over here.
I saw like a wave of
Yeah,
something
something
go
happened.
over.
Did you see it?
Happened.
Okay,
And
so
you-
this is why y'all should watch the video of the podcast. So this
on Pornhub.
Pornhub, YouTube,
Or YouTube.
Facebook.
Oh, are we on those two? I thought it was just Pornhub.
Well, your stuff is on Pornhub. This girl's still anonymous. I haven't name dropped or anything, and you don't know the time frame that which it happened. But I forgot it actually really was over Chili's. It was an actual date to Chili's because I remember there were two reasons the date was not so great. One, she was pretty upset about the gift card, and I kind of get that. You guys have opened my eyes, and I
You
respect
took
that.
a girl to Chili's with a
I
gift card?
did.
To
I
Chili's?
Was
did.
this like in the 8th grade?
But I'm almost positive we discussed that we were only going there because of gift card, but maybe not. I can't remember. But we also had bad food. Like,
I think it would be okay, like I said, only if you made it fun. If you're like,
Yeah.
let's go order all the desserts.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have this gift card.
Right.
Or let's go to dinner somewhere. And
but
then
if you're
let's
out
go to
there
Chili's and go
listening,
for
I'm not
dessert.
targeting you and I'm not naming your name. Don't worry.
Also, we love Chili's.
Sponsor us.
Just sponsor these two. I'm good. Y'all don't have any good vegan
sponsor
options
Zeta.
for me.
He's a weekday vegan.
Did it today. Did it every day. Okay, thanks for listening. This has been another episode of Let's Date Podcast. Visit our social medias, our websites. Check out all our stuff. Send us your questions. Send us your topic suggestions. Send us
please
your
slide
dating
into our
experience.
Send us your
If you
good
don't want to
openers.
slide
Right.
into the DMs of Let's Date Pod, you can message
You can-
myself, Zeta
yeah.
John, the Chris Cox, or Julie B.
We really are going to respect your
Privacy wishes.
anonymity.
Yeah, that
If
doesn't
you-
mean that we won't screenshot that shit, but we'll censor it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're going to be safe.
We'll be safe.
Not intending to sell anyone out.
Nope.
But yeah, give us a follow, give us a like, share the podcast with someone today, maybe someone you have a crush on, to show them that you're dedicated to becoming a better person. I like that. That's
You're
a good call to
interested.
action, right? But we really are always open to feedback.
Mhm.
And we definitely love your words of inspiration and thoughtful messages. And if you want to send 2 or 3 of those in a row and we don't respond, we're cool with that.
God.
Fine.
Join us on the next episode of Let's Date podcast for Communication 2.0, where we'll be talking about talking in person, ghosting, sliding into DMs, and speaking to strangers.
I love strangers.
I fucking love strangers, man.
Also love Stranger Things. If you're casting
No.
for a new season. This guy.